We've been recording for a whole 52 seconds and not even started.
1, 2, 3, clap.
All right. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3.
Fuck. Hang on a second.
1, 2, 3. Hello.
Hi.
And welcome back to another episode of Breakroom Banter.
It's a hairstylist adjacent podcast. What is it?
A podcast?
It's a podcast. It's hairstylist adjacent. And
Where
each week,
two friends who also happen to be hairstylists
break down our weeks in the break room.
in the break room. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, is the intro tired? Are we tired of it?
Hello. Does it not go with the theme of the day today?
Honestly.
Ugh.
Well, I'm your host, Hunter Walden.
And I'm your co-host, Ericka the Red. And I'll get it together.
I mean, I still have the music playing in the background, so once again, it goes with the theme. So what? Oh, we got to start with our peaks and our pits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's your peak?
My peak is that this week's over. Today is done after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my real peak would be actually that I got my house super clean, did some deep cleaning.
Oh, that's
this
good.
week, which was nice. I much needed to get that done.
I very clearly have not done that.
Looks fine to me.
This room, maybe. Everything else is a disaster.
I didn't really look. I just came upstairs.
Just go straight to the room.
Yeah, and then my pit would be, I had that highlight, low light today that just did not turn out the way I wanted. But she's going to come back in on Monday, and she was sweet. I was like, girl, I'm not going to lie, I don't like it. And she was like, well, I appreciate, I was like, what do you think? And she goes, it doesn't really look like the picture. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't like it. I was scared it was going to go too dark because she'd been blonde for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just should have taken it a little darker. I should have trusted my gut, but I didn't. And I second-guessed myself, and it screwed me over, so. But she's a sweetheart about it, and she's going to come in on Monday, and I'm going to fix it, so.
Awesome.
Period.
Okay.
What's your peak and pit?
My peak is that November's almost over.
Mm-hmm.
I stretched myself way too thin.
You did.
And let me tell you what. I am burnt out.
Burnt to a crisp.
Burnt to a crisp. Burnt out. So that is my peak is that the month is almost over.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 2 more weekends left. And
one of them were off work.
And one of them, yeah. So, and I'm going to get my hair done on Friday.
Ooh.
on the what's that called? Black Friday.
I
was going to say on the Good Friday.
On the Good Friday.
But that's Easter. But yeah, I'm going to get my hair done on Friday.
Nice.
And then my pit is that I also had my last client of the day. I did not look like what I wanted it to look like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did
she loved
tent
it.
back. Yeah, she did. She did. That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
But I did not like it.
Mm-hmm.
It looked fine in the salon, in the salon lighting. And when I took her outside and looked at it, it had a pinky cast to it.
There was a little bit of a pinky cast, yeah.
Yeah.
But
and I didn't put any red in it at all.
Yeah, but that hair was...
She was porous.
Porous.
Porosity was her name.
It looked really... it looked really pretty.
It looked really
fine. I can see if it wasn't what you wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get that, but, it was pretty.
It looked fine.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to make you feel better, I guess. But anyways,
it looked fine. Today.
What are we talking about, Hunter?
Communication.
That
is what we decided, right?
That is.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's what you printed out for me.
I was like, wait a second. Yeah, we're going to talk about communication.
So what is communication?
Well, I'm glad you asked because Merriam-Webster gave me a great definition.
What is it?
The imparting or exchanging of information of news. Or news, not of news. I'm blind.
You're not communicating very well right
I'm
now.
not using words very well. Also, I don't know if we have mentioned it. We changed our recording days to Saturdays after we get off work. And so today really drained me. I'm not
both
gonna lie.
were struggling today.
I wasn't struggling until like the very last like 30 to 45 minutes. I was like, ooh, sister, I am tired. I am tired. I don't want to do this now.
From about 10 p.m. on today. I ran behind.
You were running behind and there was nothing I could do.
No.
And I was
Nobody
already.
could.
Yeah. Everybody was busy today.
I had to give Tara big fat tips today.
Dang. Well, you communicated.
I did communicate.
That you were appreciative of her services.
Yes, I did.
That is right. So there are different types of communicators. And I feel like when you work in a salon, there is like, I mean, one person could be all types.
Yes. I was multiple types today. Because I was McStresserton, and I was like, I need this, and this. Thank you so much. But I wasn't like, hey, sweetheart. You know? I was direct communicator.
You were an assertive communicator.
Yes.
So we'll just go ahead and talk about the types of communicators. And we'll start with assertive since that's what you were today. So assertive would be an example of that would be I clearly express that we both have rights and needs. And then you want to just go from assertive up.
Yeah, and then aggressive would be I boldly insist that my rights and needs prevail.
And then counter that with passive aggressive, and I subtly make clear that my rights and needs prevail.
I don't like those ones.
I don't either.
And then passive is that others' rights and needs take precedence over mine. So somebody who is not going to be sticking up for themselves, I guess. Right.
Well, and I feel like
just allowing, I guess. That couldn't. Maybe it's not always bad, but.
And I feel like after I looked these up and did like a little more research on types of communication, I feel like I could pick out, like in our salon in particular, like the types of communicators that are in the salon. And then I got to thinking about like the leaders in our salon and like how we should be able to recognize these types of communicators and adjust our communication style to each of them
accordingly. We had a little sidebar about that today, didn't we?
We did.
We did. Yeah. No, you're right. It's true. And like, I mean, I am never led a salon, but even when I was like managing at the gym, like each person is a human and they're different. So you're going to have to communicate with them differently. Yeah. So yeah, that's true.
And
that's
conversations save relationships.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So yeah. And I think in our business, it's all it's all relationships.
Literally,
relationships
it is
with your
all
clients, relationships with your coworkers. So communication is actually really crucial to what we do.
And you can immediately tell when the communication is off between you and your guest.
Oh yeah. Well, even one of my guests today, the one that I was running behind for, I went back and talked with her the first time, and I actually I was like, hey, I'm going to go finish these other foils, but I just want to kind of check in with you. And I was like, I need you to find me some pictures because I wasn't picking up what she was putting down, you know? And I was like, I'm visual. And so we kind of talked about that. And I even told her, I was like, the only thing I'm not sure of yet in this communication here is like exactly kind of what tone it is that you're looking for. So I need you to find me some pictures of that, you know, this and that. And then, you know what? Boom, we got it. And it was great. But there was a little bit of like a struggle kind of for me to understand what she was trying to tell me, you know?
I actually had a moment like that with one of my clients. She booked an appointment and came back 2 weeks later. And she prefaced the appointment because she's so sweet. She is literally the sweetest person in the entire world. And she prefaced the appointment with, "I am going to pay you."
Yeah.
She was like, "But I don't really like this."
Yeah.
And she was
funny.
like, "But it's my own fault." She was like, "I didn't know how to communicate what I actually wanted. And now I don't actually like what's happening on my head." And then she was like, "So I've come prepared with photos."
I love it. Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes, that is perfect. That is exactly what we need."
Yes. Yeah. If anyone listening out there isn't a hairdresser, bring photos to your hairdresser. And I even told her, my client today, I was like, "Girl, it can be, I don't want this."
Right.
You know? Because that at least rules that out. You know? So pictures are helpful.
Absolutely.
In that situation. But yeah.
All right. All right, Ericka, I think we need to take a break.
Okay.
For a moment and a word from our sponsor.
Oh, okay.
So, guys, today's episode is sponsored by AdamandEve.com.
Yay. So whether you're shopping for yourself or somebody special, Adam and Eve will have the perfect gifts and an amazing deal.
At AdamandEve.com, you can get 50% off and free shipping. That's 50% off an adventurous new toy or a slippery lube, almost anything else you may want or need.
Or desire.
Or desire.
Our podcast listeners get 50% off almost any item. Just use code BRBPOD at checkout and you'll get 50% off.
But that's not all, because you'll also get 3 bonus sexy items and 6 movies for free.
Plus free shipping. And doesn't matter what you choose because it will all be packaged discreetly and shipped for free.
More pleasure in the bedroom is the gift that keeps on giving. So treat yourself, treat your partner, and life is too short not to enjoy yourself.
So go to adamandeve.com, select any one item, use code BRBPOD.
And this offer is an exclusive to this specific podcast. So make sure you support us and you are using code BRBPOD to get not just the 50% off, but also the 3 bonus sexy items, 6 movies, and 100% free shipping.
So go to adamandeve.com right now.
And use code
BRBPOD.
BRBPOD. And we're back.
And we're back, folks.
It's odd to have to remember to record an ad.
I know. It's funny because I've been paying attention to like other podcasts that I listen to, you know, and sometimes they like just throw them in. Sometimes they read them. Sometimes they splice them in, you know, and it's just, I never ever would have paid attention to something like that before this.
And now you're like, oh, I can see they
I'm
forgot.
like, okay, I like it. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear from that one sponsor I usually hear from or whatever, you know, but back to the issue at hand here. So obviously communication with your clients is super important because
if we're not communicating, we're not offering them what they are
How can you put what they want on their head if you don't understand what they want?
Right.
You know?
And speaking of understanding, that's our next Afterpod episode.
Things we don't understand.
And you know what? My back is a little sore, so I'm thinking that we could talk about things that we don't understand while
with the TENS
using the TENS machine again.
I like it. That was funny. I'm not putting it on my feet again, though. I learned that.
After a while, the feet hurt. Yeah, it tingles in your ankles and stuff. So, like, yes, communicating with our clients because you don't know how to get where you're going without the map.
Exactly.
And they give you the roadmap, and then you kind of just follow those guidelines,
right,
and come to a roundabout. You can land the plane. Yeah. Land the plane, Hunter. Land the plane.
Land the plane. Complete the thought. So, what I would say that when you are communicating with your clients, that like to be assertive is a really like good way to go, which isn't always easy for somebody. But if it's not easy for you, try to make it a personal goal because like then there's so much less room for error. Then it has to fall on you to mess up, not the consultation.
Absolutely. Yes. You and like by being assertive, we don't necessarily mean like interrupting and interjecting, but more so like helping them, like guiding them because 9 times out of 10, they don't know what they're asking for. Yeah. They just know that they want something that looks like this.
Well, and that's what, you know, that initially I never, ever, ever, ever show clients the swatch book.
Ever.
But I did today. because she was like, she couldn't find what she wanted, and she was like, well, maybe it's under balayage. And I'm like, you don't understand. You want low lights. So, like, just point to the, like, what speaks to you on here. Like, I wasn't like, show me a color, but I was like, what speaks to you in this range? And I legit covered up the rest of the book, you know?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I need to know what we're talking here, you know? And I couldn't get it through because she was like, I want it auburn, but I don't want it bright, but I don't want it dark, you know? But I'm like, these are all different things that you're saying right now. So I just had to narrow it down.
A consultation where it's like every single thing that you show them after they've told you what they want, like if you go looking for photos, just to like clarify, because sometimes it's like, sometimes I feel like I got it and I know like they meant what they said. Sometimes you're like, I don't think that's what you want.
Yeah.
I don't think that you know what you're asking for when you ask me for that. So, have you ever had those moments where it's like nothing you're showing them is adding up to what they want? You show them the swatch book and they don't know which one they like.
Yeah.
What do you do in scenarios like that? Because I know what I would do. What I do.
I did what I did today. You know what I mean? I will either look at something and show them what they want and then explain to them why what they are saying is probably not what they want. You know what I mean? And again, if someone's very insistent that they want something that I don't think they want, and I've already explained it to them and they're like, nope, this is what I want.
Then you're going to give it to them.
I'm going to give it to you, because sometimes the best way to communicate what someone doesn't want is to give them exactly that. You know?
Yeah.
I have done that before sometimes where I'm like, okay, this is what you're saying. This is what you want. This is what I'm going to give you.
That's kind of how it happened with my client, where it was like, are you sure? Okay, here we go. And then that day she had a lot of anxiety about her appointment.
Yeah.
And like she asked, like, oh, is the lightener gonna be on for too long? Like, I had never balayaged her hair before, and like it was open air lightener, so you could see the white lightener processing, and she was freaking out. And then she came back and she was like, this is actually what I want. And I was like, oh, that's not what you said.
Yeah.
That's not what you said.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like the clients don't know these terms, you know what I mean?
Right.
And especially with like the invention of Pinterest and social media, that's like people think balayage is like the name of a look, like a wolf cut or whatever. Like, no, it's a technique. It's how you apply the color. They don't get that.
Right. They also don't get that what people call balayage a lot of times is a foliage.
Yes, exactly.
Or like foils that are rooted and like, I mean, that's, I guess, an industry problem. But
I was going to say, it's kind of like we have almost had no choice but to just be like, it's balayage. You know what I mean?
It's a balayage look.
This is how I balayage you. You have to balayage you with foils and a weaving comb.
Right. Not a paintbrush.
Which, I do think, unfortunately, as an industry, we almost like messed up there. But like, did we really have a choice? You know?
Right.
Anyways, so that it would be communicating with your client, right?
Yeah.
All the different ways.
Well, and then there's also communicating with like your team. And the most important person to communicate with, I would say, is like your coordinator.
Yes.
Your person running the desk. And we call them coordinators because that's exactly what they do. They coordinate our days.
Yeah.
And I've never had them like huff and puff about having to change an appointment or move someone up or move someone back. So communicating with your support team is the one of the most important lines of communication in the salon.
Absolutely, for a day to run smoothly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like today I had a cancellation, and so I had someone come in early, which thank God, otherwise I wouldn't have had time to do that color correction.
Yeah.
Because there was a note in the file, but it wasn't, I didn't see the note until she told me that there was a note.
Whoops.
Yeah, so, so like that was a part of communication that could have maybe have been better on our end, was like a message card or like what are those things
like
called? A message
pad.
Yeah.
Notepad?
You know, like where
slip.
you write it. Yeah. Like a pink slip.
Yeah.
Like we have that book up front. That would be a good way to like streamline the communication.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
like,
true.
hey, this person called. There's a note here. Stick it on the station.
Sometimes analog is better than the new age technology when it comes
Honestly,
to that stuff.
I think
For
most
me
of the time.
and my ADD brain, it is. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Because if I had a piece of paper on top of my station, I'm going to pick it up and look at it before I throw it away.
Exactly.
But I'm going to throw it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
but at least you got it.
Yeah.
So.
And then, like, speaking to support staff and or communicating to our support team, today we had a conversation about how to communicate with our team.
Yeah.
And I came to you and was like, hey, this is something that I've said a couple times in a couple different ways. Is there any way that you think you could help me by saying the same things but differently?
Yeah.
And then you gave me a great way to have that conversation, as well as also had the conversation.
I did. Yeah, I did. But yeah, I mean, I respond very well to direct communication, and I feel like direct communication can be scary because it can feel confrontational, but you can still express like, I'm trying to guide you and help you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And for me, that was something that was so great about like the style of communication we have at our place, because it was exactly what I needed. Like I needed someone to directly tell me, hey, I care about you, and these are the things you need to do to be successful here. I know you can do it. Get it done.
Yeah.
Basically,
just get it done.
You know?
But that's the thing is like not everyone is that.
Yeah.
And that's a struggle that I have with communicating with people.
Well, sometimes you have to try out
other different kinds.
Other ways, you know, and see, and maybe you're doing it in a different, maybe it's a different setting, maybe it's a more formal setting, you can, or less formal setting, and you know, just take note and observe of how that person is or whatever, and see what works best for them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like feeling out your client, because at first, obviously, you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then if you're not, you're like, okay, maybe we need to get a little more direct here or whatever, you know?
And now speaking about more direct, let's talk about speaking to your boss.
Yeah.
And in our case, our boss is extremely direct, and I wouldn't even call her a boss. I would call her a leader.
A mentor.
A mentor for sure. But communicating to your boss, like what your goals are and stuff like that.
Absolutely. That was something that was also interesting for me coming to Bombshells, because I hadn't ever had anybody ask me what my goals or needs were.
Right.
Like that sounds
right. And it sounds so silly,
to
right?
say out loud now that I'm saying it, but like, yeah.
None of your salon owners at any of the other places, they were just like, here you go. Let's do hair.
Yeah. And I mean, I have had salon owners that like that did one-on-ones and more like kind of leader mentorship type, but I've also had plenty that didn't do it at all. Like not at all. So yeah, that was interesting for me, for them to have someone ask me that, you know, and then to communicate what first I had to figure it out for myself, you know? And then to communicate that, and then have someone be like, okay, here's how we're going to make that happen for you.
Well, and being honest, too, because I know whenever I started at Bombshells, one of the first things that I told our boss was that I wanted to own a salon one day. Yeah. And I want to learn from you because you very clearly have it down.
Yes.
Yeah. You very clearly understand what's going on, and that's why I'm here. I want to learn how to run a business from you. And so every step of the way, and I'm working on 3 years there now, I thought I was going to be there for a year or two and peace out and move away. But it's just the learning that I've done and the growing that I've done in the last 2.5 years being at Bombshells is like outrageous. And having challenges placed on me, like the one that I have right now, is only preparing me for the future. And I know that she did that because I communicated with her that my goal is to end up owning a salon and I want to be just as good as you. maybe better. She wants me to be better.
Good luck. No, just kidding. If
No,
anyone
really,
can
though.
do it, you could, though. But because that's how she is, too, because she does root for art. I mean, that's what fills her cup, is seeing us succeed. Which
Absolutely.
Is great. So,
and I have a feeling like when that day comes, if it,
Oh, how much of this did we lose? It's not recording.
No, and it's not saying. It's recording our voices.
Okay.
So let's just.
Yep, we're going with it.
Keep
no
going
video
with
this
it.
Week.
Yeah, no video for half of it.
No.
Dang, we were on a roll.
I know we were, but yeah. So communicating, because you communicated to your leader.
Oh,
what
she's giving me those challenges.
She is able to provide you with what you need.
Yeah, and it's such a crazy concept that no one thought of this before you. Like, what is going on with life?
Yeah.
Like that, no one thought to not be so protective over, like, gatekeeping.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just gonna throw this out there. When we're thinking about things that we don't understand, one of the things I don't understand is why the this industry is so catty.
Yeah.
I was on some stupid hairdresser group on Facebook this morning, and it was like somebody had posted, this group is getting toxic. And then the thread was like people pointing out grammar errors. And of course I got on there and I was like, this thread is toxic. Couldn't help it.
Because you wanted to follow the toxicity.
Right. No, but trust me, I haven't looked at it again. But it made me think about it. It's like, why is it that way? Because we have such a different environment at our place, and it's so crazy. And like, yeah, I would probably be out of here if it weren't for how awesome our work situation is, but yeah, communicating with your coworkers, communicating with your owners. And what the truth of the matter is if you're feeling stuck in a salon and you communicate your needs and they are not able to reciprocate and give you what you need, then you need to communicate that you gone, girl.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah, and go communicate to someone else what you need and what you're looking for and where you want to go. And when you find the person that can give you that, run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Then it's like our salon, it can't be the only salon in the world that's like
it's
this.
not.
So finding a salon where that communication line is actually open, because I've worked in salons where, they say that we're going to have monthly one-on-ones. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then the manager gets pregnant and then no one ever has a one-on-one, or the boss gets pregnant and everybody's pregnant at the same time.
And even just if you work in a place like a chain salon, that there's I worked in one and I worked for multiple managers. Some were good at it, some weren't, but it's like there were times where I would sit down and I would be like, hey, can we go over my goals? Like, I haven't had that in a while,
Right.
And if I can communicate that, then that's the only way I'm going to get it,
Right, because there's sometimes that you know what you want, where you want to be next, but you may not know how to get there.
Exactly.
Like, there was a point in time where your retention was really low, and you were like, I think I have it figured out, but I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
And then you communicated that, and now your retention's back up.
Yes. Well, yeah, and I was like, I think it was a lot of factors retrospectively, because I had just raised my prices, and then I had lost some clients move, and then, we had people out. Oh, I was doing their clients, and so they weren't rebooking with me and stuff. And so I do think it was just an ugly combination of things. But watching it slip, communicating that, getting some ideas and some feedback as to what it could be and ways I could fix it, it kept me thinking about it.
And accountable.
And focused and accountable, That's why, really, when I missed my my monthly communication in September or October,
and then you had
spiraled.
It in November. You did go downhill a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I really, really did. There was obviously a lot going on in my life. But it got to me because I wasn't as focused and I didn't have something. I very much need something to focus on.
Yeah.
You know, I very much do.
And so I do find it too hard to continue past a month for some reason.
I do as well,
like,
obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's where
Yeah.
I was getting at. Like, I feel myself at the week 4, week 5, especially if it's a long month and it is 5 weeks.
For real.
I feel like that last week, I'm like, ugh.
I definitely know that if I ever am out of town for one-on-ones again, I will
make sure that you call in.
If I have to call in, or if I have to go have it on Mama's porch, I'll do it. Like, I don't care. I need that, you know?
Yeah.
So whatever it can be. But.
Well, and it's also encouraging because she's always so excited to, no wonder she likes to listen to our podcast. We love you, Mama.
Love you.
But like, it's reinvigorating every single month that it's always done.
Yeah.
And we've never missed one. We may have like gone on a team lunch or a team.
Yeah.
No, even then we still have one-on-ones. We have our meetings out.
I was gonna say my first staff meeting was breakfast at Metro
Diner. That's right.
We didn't have a meeting. We just had breakfast.
Yeah.
But it was cool because I was the new kid, so it was like a different setting to see everybody in.
Yeah. Well, and then we've done it recently.
I was
we
still
went
really scared of everyone at the time, so.
Oh my god.
I didn't talk much, but. Yeah.
Okay, so we communicated with our boss. Oh, this is a good one. Communicating with your partners, and like that goes for friends too.
I was gonna say I don't know what that's like. What's a partner?
But you do. You do. You've had partners in the past.
Yeah.
But like communicating with your partner, like when you're feeling like you can't people no more. And I say that to Bradley a lot. I'll walk in the door and I'm like, I can't people anymore. I just need to cuddles.
You know what's funny is the other day I was thinking about like, because I really do just go home and like, I'm alone, you know? And sometimes I'm like so grateful that there's no one there I have to deal with. But there are other times where I'm like, I wish I had somebody to just wrap me up in their arms right now and I just need to cuddle. You know?
I just need cuddles.
Like, I wish I had that I could say that to somebody, you know? So there are times I miss it, but there definitely are times I don't miss it.
Yeah, there are times that I drive home, and we've talked about it plenty of times on the podcast. We drive home in silence, and like I will sit in the driveway sometimes. Most of the time I make it home first, so I do have a little bit of time to decompress alone. And I just like go sit outside or lay in bed.
The other thing about having a partner as a hairdresser that it's sometimes there's communication breakdowns is what time you're going to be off work, you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes things don't go right. And I definitely do remember like when Deacon was little and I was married, and that was something that created problems sometimes because I'm like, okay, my last one's at 4. It's booked until 6, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be done at 6 o'clock.
It could be 6:30. It could be 7.
I can't just be done at 6. That's impossible.
Right. You can't leave somebody hanging.
I can't halfway complete my job.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and I think that was a thing that maybe in the beginning with Bradley and I was a communication thing, but
if your partner has never dated a hairdresser, it is a learning curve.
It is.
So
it is. I'm his first hairdresser.
Well,
there was a stylist, quote unquote, before me, but that's an afterpod story that's like wild. I don't think I've ever told you that one.
Really?
But yeah, so just communicating in the sense of like people only know what you tell them.
Yes, they do only know what you tell them, and if you don't tell them, they don't know.
Right.
Basically.
Isn't that crazy?
Weird.
Crazy girl.
But yeah, well, it is. It's kind of like the closed mouths don't get fed. You know?
Yeah.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yep, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
I definitely feel like there are times where like my inability to communicate, or maybe even fear of communicating something has definitely hindered me, and I've had to watch other people get those opportunities. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which
And
is hard.
honestly,
it's a good lesson.
Same.
So
yeah, and that like it brings me back to a thought that I won't be able to post it notes. I'm going to tell you now.
Mm-hmm.
Ray wants to come back on the podcast and talk about jealousy.
yeah.
And it ties into the thing what you just said. Someone else communicated something that they wanted, and it happened to be something that I wanted as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to watch them get it because I didn't communicate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Point blank period.
Boom.
Yeah.
I like
and
it.
then guess who ended up with their feelings hurt and jealous? Not them.
But
then who had to realize that they didn't communicate that?
Jealousy is an interesting emotion, I feel like, because it can almost be like motivating, but it's also humbling. If you can admit that you're jealous, it takes so much humility. Like, I had to do it last month in my one-on-one. We haven't talked about that, but I had to, right? And so it sucked, and I had to cry my way through it. But because I was able to say that, there were things that were able to be communicated that were reassuring and motivating. You know what I mean? So it's but it can also tear you apart. Jealousy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's an interesting subject. We won't talk about it now.
Right.
Obviously.
But we will talk about it. We will
talk about it in the future. I think it's good.
She said she wants to come all the way to Nashville to film it.
Oh.
She doesn't want to do a virtual. She wants to come to Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, and lastly, if you don't ask or communicate your needs, the answer is always going to be no.
The answer is always going to be no.
If you don't ask, the answer is always no. My microphone is slotted.
Tripping, slipping.
I was all comedic when I did that with my physical comedy, and
but
no one
can't
would have
see
seen
it.
it. Yeah, because our camera turned off. Anyway, that's all we got for you today, folks.
All right.
Folks? Who am I?
Howdy, folks.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Well, if you want to follow us on our social media journeys, I am at HairXHunter on all the things.
I am Ericka the Redhead on all the things.
And our podcast is at Breakroom Banter Pod on all the things. We also have a Patreon. It is just for your support. We also post fun little after pods over there, and we try to have early access every week. I have admittedly slipped and failed right there with that. The early access I haven't been posting.
Yeah. Well, we've been having upload speed issues also.
Yeah. Someone get me a new computer. Subscribe to the Patreon so we can afford a computer. Anywho, until next week. Bye.